Hollywood loves telling us which movies flopped. They throw around words like disaster and bomb like they actually mean something. But here's the dirty little secret nobody talks about. Some of those so-called failures made more money than your favorite movie ever will. We're counting down 10 box office bombs that secretly laughed all the way to the bank. And stick around for number 2 because that movie made $284 million and somehow got called the biggest disaster in history. The math ain't mathin', and we're about to expose all of it. Number 10, The Suicide Squad, 2021.
This city is there!
What if a movie could lose $100 million in theaters and still launch a billion-dollar franchise? Sounds impossible, right? Well, welcome to The Suicide Squad. James Gunn came back from his Marvel drama and made this thing for $185 million plus another $100 million in marketing. The box office? A sad $168 million. On paper, that's a bloodbath. But here's the twist.
It's the Suicide Squad.
Okay. Warner Brothers dropped it on HBO Max the same day it hit theaters. During a whole pandemic, people weren't exactly rushing to cinemas. Instead, they stayed home and streamed the heck out of it. The movie blew up online. It got so popular that Peacemaker, a spin-off show, became a massive hit. And James Gunn? He now runs the entire DC universe. Some failure, huh? At least Suicide Squad had streaming to catch its fall. The next movie had nothing but angry fans and a stack of DVDs. Number 9, Dredd, 2012.
Are you kidding me? Did you just say wait?
The studio abandoned this movie so hard that fans started a petition with over 100,000 signatures just begging for a sequel. Dredd had a budget somewhere between 45 and 50 million. It made $41 million at the box office. That's not breaking even, that's breaking hearts. Lionsgate barely marketed this thing. They shoved it out with some 3D gimmick nobody asked for and hoped for the best. Critics actually loved it, but audiences had no clue it existed. Then something weird happened. The DVD and Blu-ray dropped and people lost their minds. It sold 650,000 units in the first week alone, hit number 1 on home video charts. Suddenly, everyone was talking about how they slept on it. Now it's a cult classic, and sequel rumors pop up every year. Dredd's fan base is loud and proud. But they got nothing on the next movie's cult following, who waited 13 years just to get their revenge. Number 8, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, 2010.
You are a pretty good actor.
Edgar Wright made a movie so weird that test audiences literally could not figure out what genre it was supposed to be. Is it a comedy? A video game? A romance? A fever dream? Yes to all of that, apparently. Universal spent somewhere between 60 and 85 million on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. It made 47 million. Embarrassing. The marketing team had no idea how to sell this thing. Too nerdy for mainstream crowds, too quirky for action fans. It flopped hard and everyone moved on. Except they didn't. Home video sales crossed $29 million. The movie became the cult classic for millennials and Gen Z. People quote it constantly. And 13 years later, Netflix dropped an anime series based on it. Now everyone calls it ahead of its time. Funny how that works. Scott Pilgrim needed a decade to find its people. The next movie was so desperate it literally changed its own name and pretended to be a different film. Number 7, Edge of Tomorrow, 2014.
If it doesn't have story and character, it's...
Warner Brothers was so embarrassed by this movie's box office that they renamed it twice and acted like it was a completely different film. Edge of Tomorrow had Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. It had a $178 million budget. It made $370 million worldwide, which sounds fine until you realize domestic numbers were weak and the studio panicked. The marketing was a mess from day one. First, it was Edge of Tomorrow. Then it was Live, Die, Repeat. Then it was both at the same time. Nobody knew what to call it.
Nobody knows this stuff better than me.
The theatrical run was considered a disappointment. But then Netflix picked it up and suddenly everyone discovered it. Word of mouth exploded. The movie sits at 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now a sequel is officially happening. Turns out the movie was great all along. People just needed streaming to find it. Edge of Tomorrow needed Netflix to save its reputation. The next movie was so stubborn it forced an entire studio to change how they release films forever. Number 6, Tenet, 2020.
You're really going back in?
Christopher Nolan refused to delay this movie during a global pandemic, and that decision blew up Warner Brothers' entire business model. Tenet cost $200 million to make. It pulled in $365 million at the box office. For any normal director that's decent, for Nolan, it's a disaster. The man insisted on a theatrical release when half the planet was locked inside. Theaters were empty or straight up closed, and even the people who showed up couldn't hear a single word of dialogue because Nolan thinks clear audio is for cowards. The movie underperformed badly by his standards, but here's the thing. Tenet forced Warner Brothers to rethink everything. It led directly to HBO Max same-day releases. It changed how Hollywood distributes movies forever. And once it hit home video and streaming, people finally gave it the attention it deserved. Tenet rewrote the rules for studios everywhere. But the next film rewrote something way more interesting. What happens in your local video store's back room? Number 5, Showgirls, 1995. This movie won more Razzie Awards than any film in history. It also became MGM's best-selling home video of all time. Let that sink in. Showgirls had a $45 million budget and made $37.8 million at the box office. A flop by every definition. The NC-17 rating meant most theaters wouldn't even touch it. Critics absolutely destroyed it, called it one of the worst movies ever made. The director's career took a nosedive. Everyone involved wanted to forget it existed. But then something hilarious happened. Video rentals went through the roof. Over $100 million in rentals alone. Turns out people really wanted to watch this train wreck from the privacy of their own homes.
I mean, it was based on reality. It was my best documented movie.
It became the ultimate so bad it's good movie. MGM literally could not keep copies on the shelves. Showgirls became a cult hit completely by accident. The next movie's cult following got so intense they literally started their own religion. I wish I was joking. Number 4, The Big Lebowski, 1998. The Coen brothers made a stoner comedy that flopped at the box office. Now it has over 600,000 ordained priests. I'm dead serious. The Big Lebowski cost $15 million to make. It brought in $46 million, which sounds okay, but for the Coen brothers after Fargo, it was a disappointment. Critics were mixed. Audiences didn't really show up. For a while, it was considered a misfire, just another weird movie that didn't connect. Then home video happens, and the world lost its mind. The dude became an icon. People quote this movie like it's scripture. Speaking of scripture, fans literally created dudism, an actual religion based on the dude's philosophy. Over 600,000 people have been ordained as ministers. There's a Lebowski Fest every year. The merchandise never stops selling. All from a movie that couldn't fill theaters. The Big Lebowski accidentally created a religion. The next movie did something even crazier. It took two complete nobodies and turned them into the biggest stars on the planet. Number 3, Dazed and Confused, 1993. Matthew McConaughey was about to quit acting. Ben Affleck was parking cars for money. Then one movie changed absolutely everything. Dazed and Confused had a tiny budget of $6.9 million. It scraped together $8 million at the box office, barely broke even. The studio had zero faith in this thing. They gave it a tiny release with almost no marketing. It came and went and nobody noticed. But here's where it gets crazy. DVD sales over the years crossed $30 million. The movie became the high school film for multiple generations. And those two nobodies? McConaughey's all right line launched his entire career. Affleck went on to win Oscars. This little movie that nobody believed in created genuine superstars. Now it's considered essential American cinema. Dazed and Confused made legends out of nothing on a tiny budget. The next movie had $307 million and still got called the biggest bomb in history. Make it make sense. Number 2, John Carter, 2012. Disney wrote off $200 million in losses on this movie. It made $284 million at the box office. Somebody please explain that math to me. John Carter is legendary for being called the biggest bomb in Hollywood history. And yeah, the budget was insane, $307 million, making it one of the most expensive movies ever made. The marketing was a complete disaster. They changed the name from John Carter of Mars to just John Carter because Mars Needs Moms flopped and Disney got scared of the word Mars. So nobody knew what this movie was even about. The ads were confusing, the title was boring, it underperformed hard. But $284 million is not $0. Home video added millions more. Streaming gave it new life. A passionate cult following developed over the years. The bomb label was more about ridiculous expectations than actual reality. John Carter holds the fake record for biggest bomb ever. The next movie holds the real Guinness World Record. And the funniest part? You can watch it right now for free. Number 1, Cutthroat Island, 1995. The official Guinness World Record holder for biggest box office bomb in history is now streaming for free because literally no one will pay for it. Cutthroat Island cost $98 million to make. It earned $10 million at the box office. That's not a flop. That's a funeral. This movie killed Coralco Pictures completely, bankrupted an entire studio, destroyed careers left and right. It held the Guinness record for years. Hollywood was so traumatized, they avoided pirate movies for an entire decade until Pirates of the Caribbean came along. But here's the hilarious twist. The movie is now basically in the public domain. It streams free on ad-supported platforms, which means it's actually making money now through ads. Being completely worthless somehow made it valuable again. The ultimate failing upward story. So there you have it, 10 movies that Hollywood declared dead on arrival. 10 movies that laughed all the way to the bank anyway. Turns out box office numbers don't tell the whole story. Streaming saves careers, home video builds empires, and cult status lasts forever. The only real bomb is believing what studios tell you about success and failure.